This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Let's talk about the show here. It gets 76,000 buys, excluding the WWE Network, because we're way into that era. But that is down from the prior year's buys of 99,000. But of course, most everyone remembers that 2014 was really the kickoff of the network. So that's when we started to see more and more fans using the network and fewer buying the show on traditional pay-per-view. We've got a good crowd here though. 11,000 fans. We're fresh off of Money in the Bank, where we saw Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose in a ladder match. And Seth is going to pick up the win to retain the title. We also saw Sheamus winning the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match to earn a world title shot. And then at Battleground, we've got Seth Rollins moving on from Dean Ambrose, and now he's defending against another former champion, Brock Lesnar. As a reminder, Lesnar was the champ at WrestleMania, and he was in the main event against Roman Reigns when all of a sudden Seth Rollins, who had earned the Money in the Bank contract, ran to the ring, cashed it in, and he beat Reigns to win the title. So Lesnar lost the belt without ever being pinned or submitting. And now here we are. Let's get to our main event. And this is a big one. Brock Lesnar's here. He's going to take on Seth Rollins. This is a big deal. It gets a DQ though, 9 minutes in. So Rollins is going to retain. Meltzer would say that Lesnar looked gigantic, and I agree. But we get started with these German suplexes, and eventually after 5 of them, Rollins leaves the ring and grabs his belt like, I've had enough. I'm out of here. Of course, that's not enough. It's time for some more suplexes, including over the head, belly to bellies, and all kinds of fun stuff. But then after he's done several suplexes, I think maybe like 13 of them, he hits the F5, and then all of a sudden the Undertaker's music hits. The lights go out. Rollins and the referee just magically disappear, and it's Lesnar and Undertaker in the ring, and the crowd is going nuts. Undertaker goes for a choke slam, but Lesnar gets out. Lesnar goes for an F5, but Undertaker gets out. Undertaker kicks Lesnar hard, very low, and then choke slams him, hits 2 tombstone pile drivers, and the fans are chanting one more time. Meltzer would say the performances of Lesnar and Rollins were both very good, but the whole idea of a 9-minute main event with no finish and the show ending so early was weird. The bell never rang to end the match, and they went off the air like it was a no contest until it was announced that Lesnar won by DQ the next night on Raw. 2 stars. As a reminder, Lesnar ended the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 30 the year prior, 2014. Undertaker's returning here, and it's going to set up a match for them at SummerSlam. I get the criticism from Meltzer in a traditional sense if this was the old school days of pay-per-view, but since it's all on the network, man, I love the idea of the Undertaker returning here. And I know there was some criticism from quote unquote smart fans who would say, oh, well, I hated that Lesnar was a part-time champion. So you don't have to worry about Lesnar getting the title back here if you weren't happy with that before. I don't know. This just worked for me. Maybe because it was the Undertaker and he's such a special character. The segment really worked for me. I remember watching it live and thinking it was really cool and well done. What'd you think?
Well, it's, Brock Lesnar, people have to understand it, is a very unique and special talent. He's a guy that can only wrestle once or twice a year, and he doesn't lose anything. He doesn't develop ring rust. He doesn't get out of cardio shape. He is a walking, talking, really is a human beast. And, the thing I would suggest is there are a couple of stories here. It's like he probably shouldn't have hit that many offensive moves without winning the title. Maybe. People say 9 minutes was, not long enough. But when you have something that is so lopsided in your storytelling as what Brock has had on, same thing with Ambrose. When he wrestled Ambrose, he just dominated him. If it's a situation where Brock is just going to eat a guy alive like he did, but on the backside you've got the Undertaker coming up, you don't need a finish. And I'm a big proponent of finishes when people pay their money for a pay-per-view, especially to leave there, when the right scenario. But I don't think baby faces should win all the time either. I think we can leave a pay-per-view with a finish, but a heat finish. And in those days, there was 2 or 3 a month, I believe, pay-per-views, some ridiculous amount. You could get to it later and finish your storytelling. I was one of the people, and they can stand up and be counted if they want to, but Undertaker should have retired undefeated.
Yeah.
That streak should have never been broke because it was bigger than any world championship, bigger than any universal championship. It had more prestige, that streak, than anything you can put at WrestleMania on top at any time. It morphed into that, and it was like one day everybody woke up and he was 15-0. Holy shit, that's unheard of. And it started to take on a life of its own, and it promoted itself, and it helped promote WrestleMania. The streak is on the line. Huge, because of who The Undertaker is. I mean, it's a guy that has the respect of the fans, has the respect of the talent, he has the respect of the office. His work ethic is unparalleled. Nobody has given his body up for the business any more than Undertaker. Any accolade that you want to hang on him, he has won. And for him to show up, anything you had done in that match prior to that with Seth and Brock, in my mind, just went away. Anyway, it disappeared because now we're at a new level. Now I'm checking the history books in my mind. He broke the streak. I wish this could happen. And when Undertaker held his own, and he's kicking the beast's ass, it felt good if you're a wrestling fan. Yeah, man. Yeah. And going off the air with Undertaker making that kind of statement, I thought was a pretty cool call. And I think the fight spelled to the back, did it not?
Yeah.
So they got in another pull apart in the back. I mean, it was bedlam. It was like a 2-man riot going on, and the physicality was so good. It was as hot as anything you could have booked to go off the air with and have people talking the next day. I thought it was masterful in its production and the way it was done, and I wouldn't worry so much. I forgot what they even did in the match with Seth and Brock. No disrespect to Seth. It's just it went to another level and the story changed, and here we go.
It's unfortunate too, because when it came to the readers of the Wrestling Observer, they gave Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar the worst match poll. It got the most votes, and the most votes for the best match poll, and it wasn't close, was Kevin Owens and John Cena. Overall, this show got 56.2% thumbs up, 25.3% thumbs down, 18.5% thumbs in the middle. So, slight thumbs up overall. I thought this was a thumbs up show. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought there were, it was a good show. It was a good, solid show because it ended solid. You can always, I'm a firm believer. You open a show up with something that grabs you and it does make you feel good, and the right guy wins, and you have a really quality something to open the show that's got some time, but that's just a personal preference of mine. There was some good stuff in there that probably didn't get voted on like it should have, but yeah, thought it was solid. And again, it's just when you end a show with something that hot that has the history that has, I don't think you could go wrong with that.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.